I'm an old man now. My hair is gray, and my face has many lines. But I remember my teenage years very well. I often think about those days. One day, I found an old photograph in a box in my attic. It was a picture of two young boys with big, happy smiles. One of those boys was me, and the other was my best friend, Liam. Looking at that picture took me back to a different time. A time of long summer days and no real worries at all. A time when our friendship felt like the strongest thing in the world. Liam and I were more than just friends. We were like brothers. We lived on the same street, and we did everything together. We understood each other without ever needing to say a word. Our adventures were small, but they felt very big to us. We would ride our bikes to the edge of town just to see what was there. We explored the small woods behind our houses for many hours. We had a secret hideout in an old tree high in the branches. It was our private kingdom where we would talk about our dreams. We dreamed of being astronauts and famous rock stars in the future. Life was simple and it was good. A very peaceful, easy time. We thought that those sunny days would last for all of our lives. We did not know that storms were waiting for us in the future. Liam's father was a very kind and strong, gentle man. He would sometimes play games with us in the backyard after work. He taught us how to throw a baseball and how to fix a bike. He had a warm laugh that could make anyone feel very happy. He always had a good story to tell or some advice to give. To me, he was like a second father, someone I could look up to. I remember one afternoon when we were all working in his garage. He was showing us how to build a small wooden go-kart. His hands were strong and sure, and he was so patient with us. That is one of my favorite memories of that simple time. A time of safety and learning from a very good man. A time before the world decided to change everything for us. Then, one Tuesday, the clear blue sky of our youth turned dark gray. I got a phone call from my mother. Her voice was very strange. She told me something had happened, something terrible at Liam's house. She said Liam's father had a sudden heart attack. She told me that he had passed away in the hospital that morning. The words did not make sense. My mind could not accept them. I dropped the phone and ran out of my house without my shoes. I ran down the street to Liam's house. My heart was a stone. The world around me was silent. I could not hear anything. I saw Liam sitting on the front steps of his quiet house. His face was empty, and his eyes were looking at nothing at all. He was my best friend, but he looked like a complete stranger. I did not know what to say. There were no words for this. All of our talks about space and music seemed so stupid now. So I just sat down next to him on the cold steps. We sat there in silence for a very long time, maybe for hours. The sun went down, and the streetlights came on, but we did not move. My presence was the only thing I could offer him. In the days that followed, Liam's house was full of sad people. Family and neighbors came to bring food and say sorry. Liam stayed in his room. He did not want to talk to anyone. I would go to his house every day and just sit outside his door. Sometimes I would talk to him, telling him I was there for him. Most of the time, I would just sit there in the quiet hallway. I wanted him to know that he was not going through this alone. Even if he wanted to be alone, I would be alone with him. That is what being a brother meant, to share the darkness. The funeral was the hardest day, a day of so much rain. It felt like the sky was crying with us for the man we lost. Liam stood there like a soldier, but his heart was broken. After the funeral, a new kind of silence filled Liam's life. The visitors stopped coming, and the house became very quiet. It was a heavy silence, full of memories and so much pain. Liam changed after his father's death. He became more serious. The happy light in his eyes was gone, replaced by a shadow. He did not talk about his dreams or the future anymore. He spent most of his time alone in his father's old garage. He would just stand there and look at all his father's tools. The place was a museum of a man who was no longer there. I was so worried about him. I wanted to help him find the light again. I wanted to see my old friend, the boy with a big smile. I knew I had to do something to pull him from the shadows. One day, I went into the garage with a new and simple plan. I pointed to the old go-kart that we had started to build. The go-kart was unfinished, just like our childhood now. I told him that we should finish it, just like we had planned. I said his father would want us to finish the work we started. I thought working with our hands might help to heal our hearts. At first, Liam did not want to. He said he did not feel like it. But I did not give up on him. I kept asking him every day. I brought over the wood and the tools that we would need. Finally, one afternoon, he picked up a hammer from the bench. He did not say a word. He just started to work on the go-kart, and I worked right beside him in a comfortable old silence. We spent every day that summer working together in that garage. We did not talk much about his father or about our sadness. We just worked. We measured wood, and we hammered in the nails. The garage became our new hideout, our new and safe kingdom. It was a place where we could be sad without having to talk. It was a place where we could heal slowly. And piece by piece, working on that project together gave us a shared new purpose. It is something to focus on, something to build with our hands. It was our way of fighting back against the sadness. Slowly, very slowly, I started to see small changes in Liam. Sometimes, a small smile would appear on his face for a moment. Sometimes, he would tell a joke like he used to do before. He started to talk more about his father, but in a new way. He would tell me stories, happy memories of the good times. He was not just remembering the loss. He was remembering the love. Our friendship became deeper and stronger than it ever was. It was not just based on fun and games anymore. It was more. It was a bond built on loyalty and on shared grief. We were no longer just boys. We were young men now. We had faced a great storm together, and we had survived it. We knew we could always count on each other for anything. The day we finally finished the go-kart was a very proud day. It was not perfect, but we had built it with our own two hands. It was a symbol of our friendship and our quiet resilience. We took it to the top of the biggest hill in our small town. We both got in, squeezed together in the small wooden seat. We were ready for the first and most important test ride. I looked at Liam, and for the first time in a very long time, I saw the old sparkle in his eyes. The light was coming back. He was still sad, but he was also ready to live again. We pushed off, and the go-kart started to roll down the hill. It went faster and faster. The wind was blowing in our hair. For a few moments, we were just two happy boys once again. That ride down the hill was the end of a very sad chapter. It was the beginning of a new one, a future we would face. We did not know what was next, but we knew we had each other. That go-kart ride became a legend in our small book of stories. It was the day that we started to look forward again.